Hello, all my lovelies, and I'm Fergus here, and today I'm going to be reading out the first few chapters from my fan fiction, You Are My Hero. And it's a fan fiction of My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia. And if you don't know what My Hero Academia is, basically it's an anime where 80% of the population has these things called quirks. And quirks are basically... well, they're basically superpowers, but they range from stuff like being able to pull your eyeballs out of your sockets, to having wings, to sweating a nitroglycerin-like substance and being able to make it explode, to having frog-like abilities. It's just like a lot of random and varied stuff, which is really cool, and I have some OCs that you'll eventually meet in this fanfic with what I think are pretty cool quirks. But anyway, a quick summary of the fanfic. Todoroki, Bakugo, and Midoriya are in a loving three-way relationship. Midoriya is pissing his boyfriends off, though, with how much he overworks himself and trains so much he forgets things. Luckily, Danmai is to the rescue. However, with an increase of villain attacks, something is bound to go wrong. So, I did post this fanfic on Archive of Our Own, and I'm still currently updating it and working on it. And just for you manga readers, I have only watched the anime. And I did have to look up some things at a certain point that the manga has covered, because of events that happen in the fanfic. So there's a few anime spoilers, but besides that, it mostly just goes with the anime. And like I said earlier, this is a shipfic with Bakugo, Midoriya, and Todoroki, so if you don't like that pairing, then you're probably not going to like this fanfic. And of course, since it has Bakugo, of course, it's going to have swearing. And yeah. By the way, this fanfic will be linked in the description. And I think I covered everything. So without further ado, let's get into the fanfic. Bakugo paced around the room, growling and clenching his fist. Where the fuck is he? Todoroki sighed and stood from his spot at the table. We should go check the track field. He might still be working out again. Bakugo let out a yell. He better not be! We told him to stop overworking himself. Todoroki shook his head and grabbed his jacket, then passed Bakugo his. Izuku doesn't know the meaning of overworking himself. He probably lost track of time and didn't realize how late it was. That was, in fact, exactly what happened. Midoriya laid panting on the ground, arm over his eyes. After the increase of villain attacks, he knew that he had to master One for All as fast as he could, even if that meant training during all his free time. Groaning slightly, he got back up and started lightly jogging around the track. He glanced up and noticed it was starting to get dark. He froze, remembering how he, Bakugo, and Todoroki made plans for dinner. Shoot. He didn't get to think anymore as a fist came down on his head, causing the green-haired hero to squat in pain. Ow! Idiot Deku! What we say about overworking yourself? Izuku looked up to see Bakugo standing over him, a skull on his face. Todoroki stood nearby, shaking his head. No, I wasn't overworking. I was just going for a walk and lost track of time. Midoriya knew that was a weak excuse, and he knew that the other two wouldn't believe him. Todoroki went over and helped Midoriya up. Izuku, you made us worry when you didn't show up for dinner in Katsuki's room. You can't keep pushing yourself too hard. Izuku sighed. I'm sorry, He shook his head. Never mind. So, is it too late for dinner? He smiled shyly. Katsuki growled. Stupid Deku with your stupid smile, he mumbled, blush on his cheeks. Todoroki smiled slightly. Let's go back. Katsuki made some pork cutlet bowls. Midoriya perked up, hearing the name of his favorite food. He immediately pulled Bakugo into a tight hug. Thank you, Kachan! Bakugo turned bright red and looked away, putting a hand on Midoriya's head. Yeah, whatever. A short time later, Midoriya groaned as he woke up, having a splitting headache. He snuggled back into someone, who he was guessing was Todoroki's, chest. The person he snuggled into started gently petting his head. Midoriya relaxed slightly and he knew it was Todoroki. Hey, are you alright? You're feeling a little warm, Todoroki asked, gently putting his lips to Midoriya's forehead. Midoriya tried to answer, but he could only make weird groaning noises. Bakugo rolled over and pulled both of them into his grip. What's going on? Todoroki sighed. I think Izuku is sick. He can't talk and I believe he has a fever. Bakugo growled. See, this is what happens when you push yourself too hard. He sat up and sighed. You're staying here today. I'll make you some soup to eat during the day. Izuku looked at Bakugo. He shook his head and managed to mumble up. I can go. He coughed and curled up slightly. Bakugo sucked in a breath, trying not to yell. No, you're staying here. Shoto will bring you notes, and I'll make you food for the day. No arguing. Todoroki nodded and sat up, rubbing the green-haired teen's back. Don't worry, you can afford to skip a day. We'll let Alma and Aizawa-sensei know. He bent down to kiss Midoriya's forehead, then got up to get ready. Don't let All Might know. Don't want to worry him. Midoriya got out, accepting his fate and curling up under the sheets. He was kind of glad it was Bakugo's bed. It smelled like the fiery blonde, which helped him relax. Tch, you worry too much about other people, Bakugo grumbled. Todoroki smiled slightly. All right, we won't tell him. We have to get ready now, though, so go back to sleep. Midoriya nodded and closed his eyes, trying to go back to sleep. He knew that there was no point in protesting anymore because Bakugo and Todoroki would tie him to the bed just to make him stay. Well, maybe not Todoroki, but definitely Bakugo. The other two got ready for school, including making soup for Midoriya to eat when he woke up. Then they headed to school, walking close to each other. Bakugo! Todoroki! They paused and looked to see Uraraka coming towards them with Ida. When they finally caught up, Uraraka looked around in confusion. Where's Deku? Bakugo rolled his eyes. That he had worked himself too hard and got sick. Ida started doing his notorious air chop. Bakugo, that is no way to talk about one of your boyfriends. That is upsetting to hear, though, that Midoriya overworked himself like that. I'll talk about him however I want, Bakugo yelled, his fingers having small explosions on them. Todoroki grabbed Bakugo's shoulder to calm him down. We need to get going if we're going to let All Might know Izuku is sick. Bakugo raised a questioning eyebrow at him. A father should always know when his son is sick, was Todoroki's only response. A small time later, Midoriya groaned as he started to wake up. He felt like shit, but he was better than earlier. He slowly sat up, squinting in the bright light. He carefully swung his legs over the side of the bed and stood. He was dizzy, but Midoriya managed to make his way to the bathroom to do his business and take a cold shower while he was at it. After that, he put on a pair of boxers, that might have been Bakugo's, and slowly walked to the kitchen. On the stove was a big pot of what Midoriya assumed was soup. He noticed this note on the counter and picked it up to read it. Deku, there's tomato soup in the pot. There's also some grilled cheese sandwiches in the oven. If they're cold, just heat them up. Just so you know, I won't be this nice next time you overwork yourself, idiot. Izuku, please relax and try to get better today. Katsuki and I will handle telling people you're sick and getting notes and homework for you. And don't worry about Katsuki, he's just worried. Love, Katsuki and Shoto. Midoriya smiled. I love those two. Todoroki and Bakugo sat near each other during class, passing notes back and forth while Aizawa-sensei talked about some famous heroes from the past. Bakugo was about to pass an note when it was snatched out of his hand. Oi! What the heck? He looked up to see Aizawa-sensei standing above him, the note in his hand. Let's see what you and Todoroki found so important that you're passing notes. The pro hero opened the note and cleared his throat. I'm just so worried for that fucking idiot. One of these days, Deku's going to push himself to the point where he'll be unable to recover, and I don't know how I'll handle that. I really care about him and love him. And you too. Bakugo turned bright red. Hey! That was private! Todoroki also had a slight blush on his cheeks as the rest of the class awed and talked about how cute the three of them are. Aizawa-sensei shook his head and dropped the note on Todoroki's desk. Well, it's sweet that you two care about Midoriya. I don't want you two passing notes in my class. Besides, he's made it out of worse situations. He went back up to the front of the class and continued teaching. Bakugo spent the rest of the class hiding his flustered face. Meanwhile, Midoriya shivered as he pulled the blankets tighter around him. He was currently on Bakugo's couch watching the news. There was another villain attack, and this time Endeavor showed up. Midoriya frowned. If that jerk came near him, he wouldn't be able to put up a nice act. There was a knock on his door, which confused Deku. Why would someone be knocking on Kachan's door during school hours? The boy got up and shambled to the door. If he wasn't already pale, he would have lost all his color when he opened the door to see All Might standing there. All Might? Midoriya coughed and backed up to let the number one hero in. Midoriya, my son, I heard you were sick, so I decided to take my break time to check on you. All Might explained, setting down his bag and releasing his muscle form. Midoriya closed the door and looked at All Might curiously. Who told you I was sick? Todoroki let me know. And it was Bakugo, though, who let me know why you were sick. All Might gestured for Midoriya to take a seat next to him on the couch, which Midoriya did. I know that things have been getting worried with the increase of villain attacks. Why did I put worried? I'm sorry I'm interrupting my own reading, but just like, why did I put worried? The first few chapters are slightly cringe. Back to the story. I know that things have been getting worrying with the increase of villain attacks, and I know you're feeling more pressure to master one for all, but you need to take things easy every once in a while. If you keep pushing yourself to the point of getting sick, then you will be of no use. Midoriya looked at the ground in shame. He silently cursed his boyfriends for telling All Might about this. He just couldn't stand disappointing his mentor. I'm sorry, All Might. I need to be able to protect those I can reach. All Might patted his back. I know, but you need to know when it's time to take a break, all right? Midoriya nodded, still looking at the ground. Tears were starting to form, but he did his best not to let them fall. All Might sighed and glanced at the television. What are you watching? Midoriya quickly wiped his eyes and looked at the TV. There was another villain attack. Endeavor showed up and took care of it. All Might nodded. Soon that'll be you and your classmates on the news, defeating the villains, and you'll be the new number one hero so that you can lead them. Isn't that right? He smiled at the teen. Midoriya mustered up his best grin. Yeah! Chapter 2. When Bakugo and Todoroki went to check on Midoriya during lunch, they didn't expect to find All Might and Midoriya on the couch, with Midoriya snuggled into All Might's side, watching Moana. Midoriya perked up and smiled at the two. Hey guys! All Might stopped by to take care of me, thanks to some people telling him about how I was sick. He was smiling, but Bakugo and Todoroki could tell he was not happy about them telling All Might. All Might, however, gave them a thumbs up. Todoroki went over and felt his forehead. Your fever's gone down. That's good. And good fathers should know when their children are sick. Midoriya pouted. I keep telling you I'm not his illegitimate son. He started coughing due to his yelling. All Might raised an eyebrow. That is true. Midoriya is not my biological son. Todoroki looked at them suspiciously. Even if that is true, you guys act like father and son, Bakugo interrupted, carrying in a tray of 4 bowls of tomato soup and grilled cheese to go with it. Midoriya blushed while All Might laughed and said, I suppose we do. Truth be told, sometimes Midoriya is like the son I've never had. Midoriya blushed more. Really? He looked at All Might in awe, his eyes sparkling. Of course, I would never lie, All Might grinned. Except for that time you pretended to be a villain and kidnapped Shoto, causing Deku to break his finger trying to stop you. Bakugo reminded, almost looking down on the hero as he gave everyone a bowl of soup and a spoon, putting the grilled cheese sandwiches on the table. All Might hung his head in defeat. Thank you for the soup. Midoriya chuckled while Todoroki smiled and Bakugo smirked. The four relaxed and ate lunch, talking about random things. All Might teased the three boys about being cute together, while Bakugo pointed out that All Might's silly mistakes and yelled at him for teasing. After a while, as lunch was near the end, All Might cleared his throat. Todoroki, Bakugo, there is something I must say. Since I am Midoriya's unofficial father, I will warn you that bad things will happen if you break his heart. Midoriya turned bright red, sputtered. What? Todoroki nodded. All right. I could beat you with one hand tied behind my back. That won't matter, though, 'cause I'm the best boyfriend ever, Bakugo declared, raising a fist in determination. All Might let out a hearty laugh. That's good to hear. Soon, lunch was over. We have to go back to school, but we'll head back here right after class ends, Todoroki promised, kissing Midoriya's forehead. Midoriya nodded and smiled. All right, I think I'll be good by the time you guys get back. Remember, don't work yourself too hard, Midoriya, All Might warned, patting Deku's head. That was Bakugo's voice. We'll make sure he doesn't, because if he does, I'm tying him to the bed, Bakugo threatened. Midoriya's sweat dropped and held up his hands. I understand. The three left, leaving Midoriya all alone. He honestly felt better, and to him, it seemed like his fever had completely disappeared. The teen decided that a little weightlifting wouldn't be bad, and decided to go get the weights from his room. Midoriya already started calculating how much time he had to lift weights and get back to Bakugo's room as he headed down to his own room, blanket wrapped around him. When he got to his room, though, he paused before opening the door, feeling a draft coming from under his door. He put his ear to the wood, listening carefully. Hearing nothing, he hesitantly cracked the door open and looked inside. No one was there, but the window, which he almost always kept closed, was wide open. Midoriya stepped in and looked around. Everything seemed to be in order, but his bedroom door was wide open. Walking over, he went inside. Just a quick little thing. By the way, I had no idea about the layout of the dorms when I first wrote these first few chapters, so that's why they seem a little bigger in the fanfic than they actually are in the anime and manga. His room was trashed. Everything he had was tossed around haphazardly, and all his drawers were open. For a split moment of panic, Deku looked for his journals of heroes. Lifting up his mattress, he sighed in relief to see the journals were still there. Who would break into my room? It has to be someone in the school since security has been so tight. Unless... Midoriya's eyes widened as he thought about the villain with the warping quirk. The villains could be here. I have to tell the others. Midoriya quickly threw on a pair of sweatpants and an old shirt, then ran to the training grounds, where he knew everyone was at the moment. Meanwhile, Bakugo tapped his foot impatiently as All Might explained what they were doing for the period. Something about an obstacle course. He could care less. He just wanted the day to be over so he and Todoroki could go back to the dorms and take care of Midoriya. Todoroki was in the same position, only he was actually paying attention to their teacher. He glanced around, still listening to instructions, when he saw someone coming towards them. Squinting his eyes slightly, he quickly realized who it was. Izuku? What is he doing here? He asked as he left the group and jogged towards Midoriya. Todoroki, where are you? All Might paused when he followed where Todoroki was looking. Midoriya? Bakugo perked up and ran after Todoroki, passing him and reaching Midoriya first. Stupid Deku, what are you doing out here? He asked not so quietly. The rest of Class 1A started to wander over as Midoriya looked at his boyfriends with worry. I stopped by my dorm for something, but when I went in, one of my windows was open and my room was torn apart. I know it might be a stretch, but I think it was a villain. All Might was quickly by the teen's side. Are you sure? It would be very hard for a villain to get through all the security. Midoriya nodded. I know, but there's no reason for anyone else to break in my dorm like that. Plus, was that guy with the warping Midoriya was cut off by a gasp. I found you! Everyone looked to see a blonde girl standing a few feet away. On her back was canisters with needles coming out of them, and she was wearing a schoolgirl outfit with a cardigan, scarf, and mask. Chapter 3. All Might quickly jumped in front of his students, glaring at the girl. How did you get in here? Toga giggled and looked past All Might, straight at Deku. I finally found you! I looked for you in your room, but I couldn't find you. She seemed to pout at that. Then she smiled again. I took one of your shirts because I thought that I wouldn't be able to find you today, but I did. Let's be friends now so I can take you back with me and I can see you bleed more. At that moment, everyone, even Mineta, felt a strong surge of protectiveness as they moved in front of the green-haired teen. Bakugo and Todoroki were right in front of the Deku protection squad along with the number 1 hero. You'll have to kill us if you want to even touch him, Bakugo growled, glaring daggers at the girl. Todoroki was silent, but his body screamed that he wouldn't let her touch one of his boyfriends. Really, Toga? This is why you dragged me here? Because you had a silly crush? The hero and students tensed when a new villain appeared besides Toga in a purple light, just like Kirogiri. I probably pronounced that wrong. Her hair was purple and pulled into a loose ponytail, and her mouth and nose were covered by a tight black mask. She wore a tight purple sleeveless top with a cleavage window and black slacks. For shoes, she had black flats. Whoa, she's hot! Mineta yelled. This earned him a lot of glares, including one from the villain. The villainess glared at him. First, you can call me Mimicus. Second, I'm in a nice relationship with my girlfriend, so don't even think you have a chance. Toga giggled. Hito-chan, you're here! Mimicus glared at Toga and yelled, Idiot, don't use my real name. That's what aliases are for. She sighed and cleared her throat. Anyway, why did you drag me here? Is it just so you can kidnap your newest crush? Because I can't beat them on my own and you're so cool. Please help me get him, Hito-chan. I promise I'll keep this one alive. Toga begged, pointing at Midoriya. Not Todoroki. Like hell we'll let you take her boyfriend. Bakugo snapped, Todoroki nodding in agreement. Mimicus sighed. Fine, I'll give you 5 minutes. Just because I need to train anyway. Only 5, though. She then turned to face the students and hero. She smirked. Well, I better practice then against the number 1 hero, All Might. I don't know why you think you'll get away with breaking in here and trying to kidnap one of my students, but I'll show you just how wrong you are. All Might got into a fighting position, ready to beat up some baddies. Ida, go get the other heroes. Said student nodded and rushed off, using his speed to quickly leave the school building. Meanwhile, Midoriya was thinking about why all this had to happen to him. He was also studying Mimicus. If her power were portals like Kirogiri's was, then why was she called Mimicus? Said villain calmly walked forward, staring at All Might. Your quirk makes you super strong, right? I wonder what it's like. She stared into All Might's eyes, her own turning bright pink. All Might glared back at her. What are you doing? If you're going to fight, then fight. He knew that he was getting close to his time limit, and he wanted to get this over with quickly. He didn't want to underestimate these villains, though. Mimicus smirked and her eyes went back to their original brown. Quirk copied. Before anyone could react, she moved with great speed at All Might and sent flying back with a punch. Midoriya's eyes widened. She can copy people's quirks! No, duh. I'm pretty sure my name implied that, Mimicus responded. Anyway, anyone else want to come spar? I really want to test this quirk. She grinned, but was quickly met with All Might's fists as he came back at her. The two started sparring, sending out shockwaves from their punches and kicks. Meanwhile, Toga tried to sneak behind everyone while Mimicus had them distracted. She giggled to herself at the observation that everyone's attention was drawn away from her thanks to the fight and Mimicus herself. Just as she was about to approach Midoriya, though, she was pinned to the ground suddenly. You don't think we forgot about you, do you? Uraraka smirked as she pinned Toga down, pulling her full weight on the villain. Toga smiled and her eyes sparkled as she looked at the girl on top of her. Ura-chan! Of course! How could you forget about one of your friends? Uraraka shook her head and sweat dropped. We're not friends. You literally trying to kidnap one of my best friends so that you can torture him and possibly kill him. Enough with the chit-chat. Bakugo squatted down in front of the villain, his hands crackling with mini explosions. You think you can just threaten one of my boyfriends and get away with it? Toga's eyebrows furrowed. One of your boyfriends? You mean my sweet Midoriya is not single? He's not yours, and he never will be, Todoroki spoke, ice starting to spread on his right side. Yeah, I'm my own person. I don't even really know you, besides the fact that you tried to kidnap Kachan, Midori spoke up, standing next to his boyfriends. Toga guessed and smiled. You do remember me. It's okay that you have 2 boyfriends. I don't mind sharing as long as I get to do what I want with you. Midoriya paled. No thanks. I'm good. Bakugo growled. Hell no. Toga sighed. Well, I did offer. Hito-chan, help me please. Why are you like this? Mimikis yelled out, dodging a punch and then rushing to help the other villain. She quickly grabbed Toga and jumped back just in time to dodge another punch from All Might. Toga grinned and hugged her. Thank you. Mimikis grumbled and rolled her eyes. All right, it's been 5 minutes. We're leaving. Toga frowned. But I haven't gotten him yet. Mimikis facepalmed. You know what? Fine. She threw Toga high up in the air, then rushed back at the students. All Might tried to cut her off, but she slid between his legs and kicked him down. She continued to the students and jumped over them, straight for Midoriya. Todoroki quickly threw up an ice wall to cut her off while Bakugo jumped at her, sending explosions her way. Mimikis cursed and kicked the ice wall so that it broke, moving her body to dodge the explosions. She grabbed onto who she thought was Midoriya and jumped back, catching Toga just in time as she fell back down. Mimikis looked down and noticed it wasn't Midoriya she grabbed, but instead Mineta. Shit. Mineta looked up at her and grinned. Wrong person. She groaned and threw him back at the group, then ran away with Toga, who was whining about not getting her prize yet. Everyone relaxed once they were out of sight. Todoroki, Bakugo, and Uraraka and All Might quickly crowded around Midoriya, asking if he was okay. Midoriya sighed. Yeah, I'm fine. I think I'm going to stay in Bakugo's room a little longer, though. So, that was 3 chapters, and we're almost at half an hour. And I doubt you guys want to listen to my annoying voice and not the best reading skills for much longer than that. Sorry I messed up with the reading a little bit. Like, this is my own fic. I wrote it, yet I still can't read it well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of cringe. I promise the chapters get better, especially from what my comments say. And yeah, if you want to read the full story about what is out right now, you can click the description. You can click the link in the description below, and there should be an update about an hour after this video goes up. Maybe sooner, maybe later. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this short fanfic reading. I say short when it's half an hour. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day or night. Fergus out.